Hello everybody, it's me, GhostCritic, and I'm back with my monthly look back at my favourite comics of March. We're already kind of almost halfway through April. I've been a bit slow with this one, but there are March comics to have a look at. This was my stack that I picked up all the way through March. Not a great deal compared to last year really, although I think it's because Image keep having these hiatus with their books, so I'm not really picking up anything new of late. There's a few little spatterings of issue ones from Marvel that I've been trying out, but nothing permanent on my pull list. And March, I have to say, was a little bit difficult trying to find my favourites, because I don't want to keep picking the same book, because some books I'm reading are consistently good, and when I say good I mean great. And unfortunately I have to keep picking them as my favourites, because that's what they are. They are doing what I want comic books to do, is tell a good story, look really good, make me ask questions, make me wonder how the next issue and the issue after that is going to kind of transpire, what these writers and artists have in store for me next. And there are some books that I just feel, while are good, they're kind of coasting along, and unfortunately they don't make my top 5. However, in between, somewhere along the way, I will be giving kind of 5 honourable mentions to comics that didn't quite hit the bill, but I wanted to talk about. So without further ado, all these comics become 10, 5 my favourites, 5 I want a good chat about. We're kicking off my 5 favourites of March with Gail Simone's new Vertigo title, which is up to issue 6. It's Clean Room, and Simone is killing it with this book. It's kind of a mashup of a psychological horror thriller genre, and she is pulling out all the stops on this book. We have, for those who don't know, the basic premises of this is we have our 2 main characters, I would say, is Astrid, who we saw as a young girl get kind of run down by a van by this kind of crazy messed up guy, who then decides to back over her again. She comes out of this coma and she starts this seemingly innocuous, I'm going to just say it's a cult. It's a self-help group, but it's a cult, because we find out that some of its members are killing themselves after joining this group. And our other main protagonist in this book, Chloe, her boyfriend is one of those people that have killed themselves after joining the group, and supposedly kind of turning his life around, but eventually taking his own life. So as a reporter, she is looking to take down Astrid's little group and cult. But really, she's getting a little bit too close to the truth, and if you've been reading this, you know how crazy and effed up this book is. We have Chloe facing off with the surgeon, another kind of character who you don't know whether they are initially friend or foe. It's the same with a lot of the characters in here. We have so many kind of differing memories thrown at Chloe, whether they're real or not, or just a way of manipulating her into certain scenarios. But we have Simone really amping up the terror in this book, as we have the surgeon coming to presumably kill Chloe. We have John Doe's Hunt, and I think it's Quinton Winter on the art and the colouring in here, and they've really kind of provided the gory visuals, and it kind of harkens back to the old Vertigo days of the 90s. It feels very nostalgic look back at those times, but still keeping fresh and modern. And you can only imagine what kind of horrors that Simone and our 2 artists have in store for us after this, which kind of ends on a very subdued note by the graveside. Maybe Chloe is looking to kind of nearly take a side on here and maybe infiltrate Astrid's little kind of cult group, but try and find some strong answers and maybe take down Astrid while she's there. It's just such a good book. Really, really enjoying this. Maybe if you love, even if you just kind of like the horror genre, I think you really, really, really enjoy this book. I just think it's a great top-notch Vertigo book, and you should be picking this up. Remender does it again with Deadly Class issue 19, part 3 of the Die For Me storyline, which just was amazing in this issue. The battle, as you know, if you're reading this, has taken to the streets of San Francisco, and we have all the pupils kind of split off, trying to survive this huge big battle royale and kind of pass the final exam of this school for assassins. And the action really does not let up as kind of Remender and Wes Craig take us on this kind of high octane violent chase and fight scene between Victor and Billy, who are just completely slugging it out. There is action galore in this, and the pacing by Remender, the panelling and the kinetic feel of the art is just phenomenal. You do feel like you are in the action. And I don't often say this, but really big shout out to Russ Wotton, who is the letterer of this, because every crunch, every crack, every whack, every smash, every boom, you feel it. It kind of reverberates within you, and you're like, that had to hurt. It's kind of like you're almost kind of clenching yourself as you turn the page to see if that person has survived or not. You know those big huge action scenes that you get in the blockbuster movies, and you're kind of like, oh come on, no one can really take that kind of beating, but they get up and they fight back again in the end. But this is just fantastic, and obviously there's more to come. There's 2 more issues of this story arc to go, and Remender promises that it will be a complete game changer. So at least we know Deadly Class is going to be continuing for some time, and I for one am happy about this, because Deadly Class is a book you should be reading. It is not just Deadly Class, it's top class. We move on to Stray Bullets, Sunshine and Roses issue number 13. I mean, I don't know how Lapham has managed to squeeze this story arc out into 13 issues, but I'm glad he has, because none of it has felt forced, none of it has felt boring. It's just more dark humour, more farcical misadventures, more danger, more cunning twists and turns, and just as you think that Orson and Beth have pulled it off, well, I think you should be reading this book to find out what happened at the end of this issue, and just shows that, you know, don't think you're safe, don't think you've escaped, because there's always someone in the background watching it all, ready to take you down. Amazing stuff from David Lapham in this. It just gets better and better with every issue. It's something. It's certainly something. It's crazy, it's wacky, you can't believe half of the stuff happens in this, but it's done so well, so cleverly. Another master storyteller who, you think this should have stopped about 5 or 6 issues ago, and this story shouldn't have gone on as long as it did, but I love it. It's just so unexpected, so different. It's got that kind of crime, drama, thriller element to it, but David Lapham has this seriously dark humour within him that just manages to throw itself on the page, work and intrigue, and just draw the reader in issue after issue. Really, pick this up, find trades, find back issues, read Stray Bullets, Sunshine and Roses. Well, I know this is a little bit of a deja vu, but it's still so good. Doctor Strange, issue number 6, the end of the current story arc. Empirical continue their battle to eradicate magic from all dimensions, and we have Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange. He's on the ropes, but he is not giving up, and he has to dig deep. And I mean deep, literally deep, as he draws on the dragon lines that of magic that are kind of deep within the Earth's surface. But is it enough? Another book that I want you to pick up to find out. This leads into a kind of mini event that's bringing a couple of other of the magic characters in. And talking about other magical characters, we certainly see them as we see snatches of other magic users like Dr. Voodoo, Scarlet Witch, Magic, Shaman, all trying to fight against the empirical, but with magic weakening, with magic getting less and less. Well, it's not looking good for the magic users of the Marvel Universe. And Bocello just gets another chance to kind of stretch his wacky, crazy, artistic vibe that he throws in this book. I love Bocello's artwork. He just really, really loves, you can tell he loves drawing comics, and it's there on the page. The crazy line, the thick inking, the big bold colours is what this book needs, and it should be on the top of your Marvel pull list month after month. Let's not forget those little kind of backstories that are going on in this as well, as we see, given that magic is now dead, it's supposedly all gone, the people who have been using magic for whatever purpose, well, what happens to them now? And there's a couple of short little kind of stories at the back about 3 or 4 different people who have been using magic for whatever gains, and now they don't have it. Just fantastic stuff. Aaron, Bocello, another great super team. So before I show you my favourite comic of the month, a few honourable mentions, 5 comic books that I just want to have a quick little chat about. I don't think it would be fair not to mention Batman issue number 50. Although I've not got a lot of things to say about it, this is kind of coming towards the end of Snyder and Capullo's huge run on this book. But basically, after all the dust settles, after the big explosions, after the big fight scene, after the people who almost sacrificed all their lives, you're really back to the status quo before Bruce Wayne kind of lost his memory. Bruce Wayne is back to Batman, Jim Gordon looks like he's going back to being Commissioner Gordon, and we may have a new Robin, who I don't really know the character. I'm sure he's a big player in the We Are Robin book, but I never picked that up. However, as you probably know from my Wednesday video, dropping my back titles for when Rebirth comes up. I'll finish this new 52 run off, but then that's it. I'm going to leave Batman alone for a while, listen to what you guys and girls have to say about it. If it sounds like it's doing really good stuff, I might go back and pick it up, but for now, Batman is out of my life. Let's talk about Mark Waid and Chris Samney's Black Widow issue number 1. Came out last month, first issue. If you saw me on Twitter, I'm basically going to say exactly the same thing. I don't really know what to think of this book, because basically we have just one long chase scene with kind of Black Widow trying to evade S.H.I.E.L.D. of all people, which does, I guess, raise a number of questions. What has she stolen? What has she stolen that is so enormous that S.H.I.E.L.D. will kind of have a 180 degree turn on her and want to take her down? There is a glaring plot point in this, as Black Widow throws herself out of a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier. You would think they'd just let her drop to the ground and basically splat, die. That would kind of solve the problem. But no, we'll throw a flying car, some guys in jetpacks, which she can handily use, and then go off and escape. This brings, like I said, together the Daredevil super team of Waid and Samney trying to weave their magic on Black Widow. let's see if issue 2 brings any more depth to this storyline and some of their Daredevil magic. Issue number 4 of Sam Humphries and Michael Del Mondo's Weird World. Issue number 4, as they turn up at a rather sweet looking village, but it is dark as anything, as you can guess, in this crazy weird world. As we have Humphries throwing in a dash of emotion, a bit of depth to these characters now, to add on top of all the kind of weirdness that's going on. As always, great artwork by Mark Del Mundo, but it's nice to see something a bit more than just the weird. It looks like we're going to get some more swamp, some kind of Man-Thing action going on again, as we're in the swamp and Skull the Destroyer has made his appearance. Good stuff from Weird World. Ody-c, issue number 10. This felt like it was going to be the end of this very, I guess, short run series, but apparently there are more. I wouldn't be surprised if this is taking another kind of hiatus, but this was very much an end of a story arc, end of a story, and used that kind of idea of stories ending to its fullest here. But I buy this book primarily for Christian Ward's artwork because it's beautiful. I've said this before, it's incredibly psychedelic, it's very kind of in your face. There is kind of male, female nudity, there are scenes of a sexual nature in this, but it's just done so well and so vividly from Christian Ward. He is certainly an artist I want to see more and more of on other books, to see what he can do. And finally, I thought I'd have a quick chat about International Iron Man, issue number 1. It came out in March, and it's another of those super teams. We've got, as I said, Wade and Samney on Black Widow. We now have Bendis and Maleev, also from the alumni of Daredevil, now taking on International Iron Man. And Bendis does kind of fit the International Iron Man, the kind of Iron Man genre, but I'm not so sure Alex Maleev is particularly suited to the present day of Iron Man, because this takes a lot of of its time in kind of Stark the student days. It's kind of a flashback to his youth. We kind of know that this is about him looking for his parents. I have not read Iron Man in any way, shape or form, to be honest, as an ongoing series in the past. This is my first maybe foray into it. But Maleev's artwork seemed, well, it didn't help because this was very much a kind of a talky issue, because it's Bendis obviously, and there wasn't much action going on it, so we couldn't get to see a great deal of Maleev's kind of really great artwork, because I know he can do some fantastic stuff. Unfortunately, we didn't quite see it in this issue, but hopefully in upcoming issues Maleev will be able to blossom more, as we've seen him do in the past. And finally, my favourite book of March had to be Black Science, hands down, issue number 21. Remender showing once again what a great storyteller he is. We have Grant, who's now got his memory back, he knows where he is, off to find the rest of his team and his family with these conveniently placed kind of homing tracking beacon devices that are on their suits. And he's going from dimension to dimension looking for them. He lands on a dimension where apparently a Rebecca is somewhere, and he finds the suit, but unfortunately the suit has a dead Rebecca inside it, which looks to be the end of Rebecca. However, this is not the dead Rebecca of his dimension. It's Rebecca from the dimension he's in. Oh, it sounds complicated, and it slightly is, but what transpires from all this is we get a kind of U-turn digression into Grant basically getting payback. This is a revenge story, as we get a huge flashback of how himself, Sarah, and his then girlfriend, soon to be wife, and then Becca, that's how complicated this is. Becca comes in and kind of ruins his whole life and basically becomes his mistress, who's really at fault here. It's kind of half a dozen the other and dozen of the half, and you know what I mean. But the story just took you to a place you didn't think it was going to go. And, well, yeah, payback's a bitch. And Rebecca, although, you know, she kind of is in this dimension now where she is very happy. She's in a dimension where her brother is still alive and she's got this new relationship and having a full life. But just as she ruined Grant's life, Grant is about to ruin Becca's, and it's done in such style with Scalero and Denicio's artwork on this. I love black science. This book can do no wrong with me. It's another book that you definitely should be reading. There's a fair few trades out now for you to get into and just binge read and love every sci-fi fun bit of it. And that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching March Madness. Reviews of the comic books that I picked up this week. Did you enjoy the books that I picked up and chose as my favourites? Let me know in the comment section down below. Hit subscribe if you want to see more videos of mine and you won't miss out on them. Give this video a big thumbs up. And I'll see you next month for April's favourites, and every Wednesday for now, as I show you every single new book I pick up on my pull list. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.